Welcome to Google Classroom for Families, and thank you for joining us for this session. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to go over everything you ever wanted to know about Google Classroom. If I go too quickly, don't worry, we can always email you a copy of this presentation, or you can find it by joining at the bit.ly down at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. You just type this into your browser, and it will bring the entire presentation up for you. This is everything that we'll be discussing, what it is, where it is, how to access the student assignments, teacher feedback, etc. So what is Google Classroom? Well, it's been around for about 5 years now, and it's a communication hub between teachers and students where all of the classwork can be stored, all of the assignments, and all of the marking. It's like a massive binder of everything. You cannot get into your child's Google Classroom. They have to log in with their school email account, but we recommend that you sit down with your child and walk through their classroom with them to discuss their upcoming assignments, classwork, and notifications. It's really important that the student log into the Chrome browser correctly. You will notice that there are two icons. Let me just show you here. So there's one here and there's one up here. You never, ever, ever want to add an account using this particular icon, because what that does is it can merge the information between two accounts. So if your child is having difficulty sometimes accessing the classroom or other things in the board Google account, it could be because of that. So they need to remove the accounts from here. Now you can add them up here. So you want to log in up here and you can add other people. So you can see that from this icon, I can click on it and I can quickly switch back and forth between my board account and my personal account. To join Google Classroom, students usually will receive an email from their teacher, or they could get a join code. They have to join with their lkdsb.com account. If they try to join with another account, it's just not going to work. So how do they log in? Well, to access the classroom, they can go to classroom.google.com, or they can just click on the Google waffle, which is located up here. That's where everything Google lives, and they can easily find their classroom in there. All right, let's go on a little tour of the classroom and what it looks like once you get in. So there's three things at the top here. You have your stream. Your stream is basically where everything happens. So if there is an announcement, if a student wants to make a comment, ask a question of the teacher or of another student, if an assignment is posted, it all shows up in the stream. But the stream can get a little bit overwhelming. The next one is the classwork, and that's where the actual assignments are located. So there's topics down here on the left-hand side. Usually it's broken up into like math, language, whatever. And you can click on the individual topic and get to those assignments for that particular subject area. And then the last one is people, and that's just where all the classmates are. Two features that I love about Google Classroom are the to-do list and the calendar. The to-do list can be found by clicking on these three lines right here. It's known as the main menu, but we call it the hamburger. When you click on that, it's going to show you all of the assignments that need to be finished. It's like a to-do list for the students. And then there's the calendar. So the calendar is also going to show you all of the assignments, but it's going to show you when they're due and how much time you have before you complete them. Once a student has turned in an assignment and the teacher has given them feedback, they can find it two ways. My favorite way is to just go into the classwork and click View Your Work. So let's see what that looks like. So you go into classwork, and then you click View Your Work, and then you'll see that there is a comment that was left by the teacher. The student can click into that, see what the teacher has said, excuse me, and even comment back to the teacher. It's a great way for the teacher and the student to have an ongoing student-teacher conference. You can get information from Google Classroom by signing up for Guardian Summaries. You can get a daily summary or a weekly summary where you will get an email that tells you everything that has happened in the classroom, as far as missing work, upcoming work, or class activities. So to sum up, Google Classroom is where your child can see all of their assignments, and it's also where you can get a summary or a weekly report of your child's progress. If you need more help, here's a link, particularly for students, troubleshooting for students. There is a Guardian guide, which goes over more specifically what you have access to as a guardian. This is a fantastic resource from Google. It's Tech Toolkit for Families, and it's short videos that talk about everything Google related in education. Student passwords. In order to keep the student's account secure, please make sure that their password is unique to them and it's not the word password. They can click here to change it themselves, or they can always contact their teacher or student IT. If they are under 18, you as a parent or guardian should know what their password is. They should not be sharing it with their peers. So Google does keep your information secure. If you are interested in what happens to everything that lives in Google, there is a link here. Our students are spending an incredible amount of time looking at a screen and digesting information that's being thrown at them via the internet. They should learn to be critical thinkers and to be good digital citizens and know how to navigate safely. This is a great game that they can play that takes them through some of those steps. So Google Classroom on Chromebooks and laptops can all be accessed through the Chrome browser. Just make sure that you accept permissions for camera and microphone so that we can talk to them in Google Meet. Google Classroom on iPad. So on iPad, it has to have iOS 11 or later so that you can get the latest version of the app. You can find Google Classroom on the App Store. It's free. You can download and install it yourself, or you can ask your classroom teacher or student IT for help. If you're on the iPad, you're also going to need a few other apps. So these are all the things that teachers tend to use in Google Classroom: the Mail, the Calendar, the Drive, the Docs, the Meet, Slides. So those are all apps that should be downloaded onto the iPad as well. And they can all be found in the App Store. Google Classroom can be on iPhones, on Androids, on Amazon tablets. If your Wi-Fi crashes, and you're not connected to the internet, you can still work on Google as long as you have enabled the offline mode. And that means that your students can still get into their work and work on it. If you have more than one child, they can both log into the same device. This is how you add and use accounts. And this is just security features just to make sure that the accounts are kept secure. Thanks. Please reach out if you have any more questions. And thank you for joining us for Google Classroom for Parents.